What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Today on the program, Harsev J.R. Thiara. Oh, you definitely know that name. You've been listening to this podcast. I mean, we only just talked to him a couple of months ago about his hemp guru business, being the hemp guru. But today we're going to be talking about some immune support. So stick around for that. It may extend your life, may make your life better, make you feel better. Harsev J.R. Thiara. Stick around. This week's shows, I have one public show here in Conway, Arkansas. That's the Friday night video dance party karaoke jam at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. And then, that's the full bar. The kitchen's open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool while you're waiting to sing a song right next to me, come on out to the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. It's a nice place with some nice people. That starts at 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. on Friday night. And then on Saturday, I have kind of a quasi-public show. If you're in the Harrison, Arkansas area, Ray Black, he was formerly in Russellville, and now he's got a campground up in Harrison, Arkansas. That's 960 Highway 206 East in Harrison, Arkansas. It's the Shady Oaks Campground and RV park. Well, we're going to have a party on Saturday night from 6 to 10 p.m. in Harrison, Arkansas. So if you've been wanting to do a little getaway, and if you're in the Arkansas area, maybe even in the Missouri area, somewhere in Branson or around there, anywhere in the Ozarks, well, come on out and visit with me. I'll be playing some music, and you'll be singing some songs. We got a little karaoke jam from 6 to 10 up at the Shady Oaks Campground and RV Park in Harrison, Arkansas, Saturday night. Exciting. All right, that's enough intro for this one. Let's get into it with Harsev J.R. Thiara. Now, I got him on the Skype. If you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Skyping Harsev J.R. Thiara now.
All right. Magic.
Well, look who it is on my screen. Harsev Thiara. What's up, man? JR
Hey.
in the house.
Yeah. Doing great.
Oh, my
Great.
goodness. So much has happened. We just talked, not even, what was it, like 2 or 3 months ago, and you were the hemp guru, but there's been a switch. There's been a change. You've branched out. You've gone further into you're a hustler. You're a straight up hustler. What are you doing these days, Harsev?
Well, actually, this is something pre-hemp guru stuff. I've been in the cardiovascular cutting edge industry of science for about 20 some odd years. And we introduced some really cool diagnosis testing about 20 years ago, and stuff that goes beyond blood pressure cuffs and so forth. And over the course of time, lots happened. A lot of research has been going on. There are people trying to figure out what's going on with the arteries and the blood circulation. And our cardiovascular business kind of tapped off a little bit for a few years. And then throughout our relationships with some pretty high-tech, very super scientists, we actually back in 1998, 3 scientists were awarded the Nobel Prize for conglomerately over the course of 2 decades researching and finally discovering that we have a supermolecule in our cardiovascular system called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is the molecular compound which is responsible for every physiological function in your body. And it starts with your cardiovascular health. So that's where we're at now. And it's similar, we're doing stuff with the hemp. We're getting right down to the guts and bones, right, of immune system. And this is now more cardiovascular.
Well, we talked a lot last time about your family in the farming industry since the Punjabis came over to Live Oak, and you've been in the farming industry and all that. And anybody that wants to listen to that, definitely the podcast is only a few back. It hasn't been that long. But man, when I was in my 20s, I was a paramedic, and I also worked in the emergency room at the hospital. And I remember there was a chest pain ward. It was a 20-bed chest pain ward, part of the emergency room, where they would take anybody who had some chest pain. It doesn't necessarily have to be heart attacks, but they want to rule that out for sure. And cardiovascular was was a big part of it. And that was at Baptist Hospital in Miami. But they gave people thrombolytics and things like that to get their blood flowing, in case they were experiencing myocardial infarctions, the heart attacks. But what is it you're doing with is it supplements that you're doing, nitric oxide supplements?
We have the scientists which are probably the world's most renowned scientists in this research since the discoveries of the molecule. And so the scientists have formulated a supplement that it's a bio supplement. So it gives you the bioequivalent of about, say, 2 capsules a day, the bioequivalent of about 5 to 7 ounces of spinach. So what we're doing is we're doing twofold. One, we're encouraging lifestyle change through diet and exercise. But most people in the Western world just don't get enough exercise, don't get enough green leafy veggies, don't get all the right things that we need, because we have so much convenience food, so much fast food, and so it's all like poison to us.
I think I ingested some of that poison this afternoon. I know I need to stop doing that. I'm getting older. It's getting harder to combat. I used to be able to, go run around the block, go run 5 miles, and it would even everything out, no matter what I ate. But by the same token, whatever I ate when I was running and exercising quite regularly, I didn't want to eat all the junk. It's amazing what your mind does when your body's working hard, But this medicine that you're producing, it's for like strengthening the blood vessels. Is that what it is?
Basically, let me take you. You mentioned something about chest pain wards, right? Yes. So the word we use is angina, which a lot of people So in the 60s and prior to this, for about 150 years prior to 1970, in that whole gamut of life, they were pretty keen on cardiovascular health, but they didn't understand the working. We didn't have the science, the technology, right? The assessment tools to really look down in the cameras, but they were giving nitroglycerin pills. I don't know if you recall that.
Under the tongue.
You see on TV, right? You see a bunch of old, Lucille Ball shows. The guys have, I have an angina, and they stick a little tablet under their tongue. Well, what they discovered in the 70s and 80s, they finally discovered, why does it reduce the pain? What happens? And they discovered that it converts to nitric oxide. So the first statement I'll say is the biggest takeaway, that if anybody doesn't remember anything else, is a deficiency, a deficiency in nitric oxide in your body causes cardiovascular disease and increases your risk of illness and death to viruses, including coronavirus. Okay, so nitric oxide is a molecule that as we were younger, our bodies would make that in the arteries. Okay, we have a fine lining. Our arteries are lined with a smooth muscle called an endothelial layer, and your body would convert L-arginine and could do a little molecular synthesis and convert into nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a gas, and it permeates into the arteries and also throughout your entire system, and it causes the arteries to be elastic. So you've heard of plaque buildup, stiff arteries. Sure. So this is the key. We now know what the cause and what is really going on in our cardiovascular system that's causing a breakdown of the entire body. And number one being cardiovascular disease, which is the leading cause of death in the United States. Because 2 out of 3 Americans have cardiovascular disease. It's a few hundred million. And so what happens, Dan, is that molecule, your body makes it endogenously, right, internally, but after we turn at the age of 40, the science tells us that when we hit 40, your natural production of nitric oxide, the conversion, drops by 50%. It drops to 50%. And there begins your downhill battle. And when everybody says, oh, I'm getting older, I can't, like you just said earlier, I don't have that jump in my step, right? I get a little tired. I don't do the exercise. Well, it's nothing to do with aging. It's the age of your arteries, right? And so, because your arteries are responsible. There are 60,000 miles of arteries and veins in your body. 60,000 miles, man. Right? I don't know if you can see this picture.
Yeah.
There it is. So there's 60,000 miles, and that's the biggest organ in the body. And if that system starts to dysfunction, it causes dysfunction. Every chronic disease is tied to that. Whether it's diabetes, vascular dementia, bronchial problems, spleen problems, infection problems, blood clotting, erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in females as well, because females have sexual dysfunction as well as a result of the cardiovascular health going downhill. So blood flow and circulation. So when we realize that our bodies have dropped to 50%, and when you hit 60 or 55 or 60, that production drops to 15%. And then when you add the tacos and the burgers and the fries and the Pepsis and the sugar and the donuts on top of that, your body no longer has a defense to fight it. And then therein lies, arteries become damaged, and the disease starts in your microvessels, your baby arteries, the ones in your eyes, the tips of your fingers, and it could start when you're 10 years old if you're eating the wrong diet. Right? Because you're challenging your artery system. And so it gets, so if you're living a real unhealthy, sedentary lifestyle most of your life, and you're going to end up with diabetes, which is a vascular disease. Diabetes is a vascular disease. That's what we've come to discover now. And Alzheimer's, for example, Alzheimer's is now being coined as diabetes type 3. Okay.
I don't think I'd heard that.
So what's happening if you're not producing enough nitric oxide, which none of us are after the age of 40, and if you had if you generally had a decent lifestyle, you watched your diet, you're probably in okay shape at 40, right? But at the point is, it doesn't matter. You're still aging. So your arteries now begin to age, basically oxidize. And so as the microvessels get a little stiff, blood circulation starts getting less and less because they're not elastic. They're not opening up with every pump of the heart. So when the heart pumps, it's like just a ball of blood comes out in these little pumps, right? So the artery has to. It's not like when you run your water hose and you just have the hose stays solid and the water just pours out. This is a ball coming out, and something has to expand, and therein lies your pulse. It's like a wave, right? A waveform. Sure. So with the what we discovered now what we know is that through dietary, because before all these drugs and high blood pressure meds and all these prescriptions, people actually ate well, right? I mean, in the old days, you didn't have a McDonald's and a 7-Eleven on every corner. And so you ate your 3 squares, and they were usually kind of healthy, and you were lucky to get certain nutrients in the old days, right? Some of the things were luxuries. So what we've discovered now is that foods like spinach, so now what we can do is we can take dietary nitrates, which is what you get out of spinach, arugula, bok choy, celery, butter lettuce, red beets. Okay, so and red beets happens to be the fundamental part of the formula, because it's a very easy product to use. It's traded on the market, powders and different grades. But so if you were to eat 5 to 7 ounces of spinach in one sitting, your arteries would just be excited. I mean, and if you did that every day, or some mixture of the salads, right? The leafy green vegetables, you will start to see an improvement in cardiovascular health, but you also have to make a lifestyle change, right? You got to cut the sugar, you got to cut the stuff that's challenging it, because your nitric oxide levels are they're battling all that. And so on top of that, you have environmental issues, pollution, toxins, dust in the air, coronavirus for that matter. And so you're, out of all the thousands of attacks on our body, every time we breathe in, every time we step up, everything around us is kind of toxic because we have such fossil fuel materials, just melting in the air, mm-hmm. right? And so, and then we have pollution on top of that. And so, but there's three finite results of all the attacks on our body. One is oxidation mm-hmm. of your cells. One is inflammation of your cells. And the other is immune system dysfunction. Those are the three finite results that end up causing diabetes, lung disease, probably even leads to things like cancer at some point. Stretching on that a little bit right now for research, but the point is vascular dementia, okay, it's all tied to getting blood flow. So what nitric oxide, so when you eat those leafy green vegetables, that's called dietary nitrates, and it's called NO3, so 1 nitrogen and 3 oxygen molecules, mm-hmm. and then you chew that food, your saliva, we have this bacteria on our tongue, and that converts it to dietary nitrite, which is NO2. Okay. And
yeah, I think I remember that from my basic chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah. So then as you swallow and the food goes into your stomach and digests, you want a bit of an acid environment, right? And so that's why we have vitamin C as part of this formula. And so, because the vitamin C creates that next synthesis, and then it makes the dietary nitrates available as nitric oxide as the body needs it. So your gut health, people with all these intestinal problems, gut problems, they're all based on a deficiency of nitric oxide helping the body do its job. So the key about nitric oxide is, now here's the real special thing about it. What they really discovered that gave those guys the Nobel Prize for medicine was, they used to think the arteries would just kind of open up and close, and there was some solution in there that would just cause it to open and close, and they had different names for it, but they didn't really have their hands on it. And then these three guys put their tools together, and it's a single cell, actually a conductor. It tells everybody else in the vascular system where to go and what to do. So without nitric oxide, you have a bunch of lost souls in your body, spinning in circles, not functioning, not doing the right thing they're supposed to do. And another example of that is, so you have, when you have nitric oxide levels at the peak and you're eating well, that means your heart is healthier. And now your arteries, because our heart's going to fill up with blood, right? Like a balloon, and then it's going to release that pressure. And now your arteries just say, oh yeah, thank you very much. And now that the volume of blood is back up to where it was when you were younger. That's the great news here. You can, so to speak, turn back the time by healing, giving your arteries the tools to heal. And then it's the microvessels, the teeniest arteries are getting blood. So, because it's all of our functions that are where we have diabetes or vascular disease or dementia, when my little teeny little artery, that teeny arteriole, that microvessel that is not visible to the naked eye, okay. That's like 1 or 2 cells away from your organ. And if that starts to dry up because there's poor circulation, that's it. You have dysfunction of that organ. It's pretty simple science in that regard, but very complex, right? So this discovery is incredible, but the interesting thing is it's taken over 25 to 30 years to bring it to a point where we now have a product or a dietary recommendation to actually start sharing this with physicians. And my company works mostly with physicians, but we can also take on patients ourselves, right? So we can consult people, but otherwise you have to go to your physician or a physician. Okay. And so the reason is because my business partner and I, he was involved in a clinical study with this product in California, and they demonstrated that this supplement drops your blood pressure, systolic pressure by 12 points in less than 90 days. That is a clinical event. That's the same thing as the prescription drugs. When they do that, they go, okay, we hit the mark. So now we have what we call the Berkeley Life Professional, product. And so there are a couple other products that have been developed by the same scientist, but they're not the professional level, or it's just a little different formula, right? And so, but we want your physicians to know, especially if you're on hypertension medications or blood thinners or any other vascular related dementia, or any kinds of prescriptions, so that the doctor knows as you start taking the supplements and you see improvement, the doctor knows that it's not his drugs, right? And to keep you on the drugs. The goal then is to say, okay, doctor, I'm stable. I'm getting a little better. I mean, I'm feeling better. My numbers are looking better. Hey, can you, what we call titrate you up or down. Can we reduce my prescriptions now a bit? Because everybody hates taking hypertension drugs. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of side effects. People the patient compliance is really tough because it's so many side effects. It makes you feel terrible. But there are some calcium products and cholesterol products or lipid products that actually do help in healing the arteries, but not all of them. So our what we recommend is, we say, look, most everybody here is headed to a heart attack or stroke or some vascular related issue, and so we're sharing both things here. You can do it by diet. That's my first recommendation, right? And we have recommendations of what you can take, but most people go, I can't eat all that every day. I can't get to that. And I said, then supplement, right? And you will feel better. I mean, it's just hands down, you'll feel better, over the course of time.
Well, Harsev, you're a fountain of information. Okay, look, at 40 years old, I've been told my whole life, life begins at 40. And then when I hit 40, I realized it begins to deteriorate and problems start happening. But this is a magic pill, it looks like, I'm thinking. But, people that crave cheeseburgers like me, bacon cheeseburgers like me, it's amazing what your body craves, though. It wants the right thing. I have craved spinach. I definitely love my spinach. And I know when I'm feeling bad, when I feel a little sluggish, I feel like I can't get up and do that sprint. And I'm very active. My day job is walking around outside all the time. So I'm very active in that respect, but not so active that it combats all the calories that I intake, all the processed foods that I've been taking in. But I do like a good salad. I do like a good piece of spinach. But people say, oh, you can't get to that. Well, we're in America. You can get to that. You can definitely get to a store and get, instead of picking up, that hot dog and hamburger, you can go to the produce section. It's right there in the front. The produce section is the first thing you see when you walk in to most grocery stores. Yeah, look to the right. There it is. All your vegetables. But a lot of people would say, well, I can just take a pill. I can eat a cheeseburger and take my nitric oxide pill, and that'll combat it. But that's not what you suggest, is it?
Well, it's not the best recommendation, but we have some YouTube videos that show a person with eating their cheeseburger and what happens to their arteries on their heart, and then after they take their nitric oxide, it definitely helps. I mean, it opens that artery back up because it's such a fight because your arteries are fighting that stuff, and so the nitric oxide is being used up to fight the preservatives in those foods, so it's not doing its job with blood circulation, and that's why your blood circulation immediately starts to slow down during that period of digestion. And so, we recommend people supplement because most people cannot get it. It is a natural product. It's the same thing as eating a bowl of spinach.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing chemical or prescription about it, right? So it's technically over the counter, but we ask people to consult with their physicians and let them know what you're doing, because you have something that's very serious that you're putting in your body. It's not like just buying some vitamin C at the store and hoping you feel better, because this stuff goes in your body and it's a very, very super formulated product.
Well, I mean, as an ethical person, a physician gets incentivized to keep you on those pharmaceuticals, keep you on those meds to lower your blood pressure, to help your cholesterol, to keep you on the insulin for the diabetes, and you would say, oh yeah, you can eat that cheeseburger. If you were an unethical person, you would say, go ahead, eat all those processed foods and then buy my product. But you're not, man. You are a person who has come from a farming family. You know how to eat right. You know how to exercise properly. You're offering these pills as not a replacement for exercise and diet, but an enhancement. Maybe you need that extra boost, that bump.
Right.
You're not trying to tell people don't exercise, take my pill, and you're fine. Everything's going to be great. Because you're a good person, Harsev. I've talked to you.
Dan.
I talked to you in length, and people can definitely. I encourage you. Listen to this one, but then go back and listen to the other one, and you'll hear, man. There's not just stories about your family and the Punjabi lifestyle and things things about your siblings and such, but there's also the farming that has been passed down from generation to generation, getting the good food into your body that's going to help you live your best life. But oh my goodness, Harsev, you're spitting out all kinds of info, and I love it, man. A person who has passion for their product, for their craft. I can tell that you have studied this.
Yeah, it was very difficult for us to get ourselves positioned with this company, and I believe we might be the only company that is a non-physician company that's able to work with patients. And then what I do also is our company, we actually go out and find physicians and share the information with them and share them a way that they can not only improve clinical value into their practice, but we can set them up to, there's also a little economic value to their practice. So we can kind of help them from both helping their patients, add real clinical value. There's no doubt about it. And we have the science. There are thousands and thousands of medical articles published on nitric oxide and the related benefits. And so, our goal is we have to educate, and it's tough because physicians didn't even know this existed. Someone practicing today, including my younger son-in-law, that just now going through residency, and nitric oxide still new to them yet. And so we're sort of the pioneers. We're the groundbreaking pioneers. And you're going to see in the future, or it's already actually happening, you're going to see a bunch of copycat products now in the stores, nitric oxide booster. And I wanted to say something to the listeners. After the age of 40, there's a lot of products out there. They're L-arginine supplements. And L-arginine, when you're younger, is a great thing for creating nitric oxide. Okay. But after you hit 40, the system has already been goofed, and supplementing with L-arginine doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't fit in. It doesn't work. It actually works against you. And so now you need something that converts to nitric oxide, like this supplement or diet at that age group. And so there's a lot. There's a product called. There's a byproduct of when nitric oxide transitions in your arteries naturally called citrulline. Citrulline is another good product which you'll see in some health food stores. But people are taking them thinking that's what I need to take, but it's not going to do the job for them. And so, but I don't know if you can see this.
Well, for the listeners, you're holding up what?
This is a cross section of an artery out of your eye. Okay, a little cross section, right? So this is the actual artery. And now, what we used to think was the artery was just a single lining of smooth muscle, like Teflon in a frying pan. But 5 years ago or 6 years ago, with new photographic technology and science, they discovered that there is a fine lining of hair that lines it as the first level of protector. And there it is right there.
Yeah, I would liken that to a cilia in your cells.
Yeah. And they call that the glycocalyx. They call that the glycocalyx. So that glycocalyx acts like the little spider web in the corner of your room catching flies. So it catches the cholesterol, it catches the toxins, and it breaks off and helps it flush itself out. And then every night it grows back as long as you're healthy and you sleep well. And then you have enough greens in your diet, the things that are needed for it to bounce back. And so if your glycocalyx starts to fail, you have inflammation that's going on here, and pretty soon that inflammation becomes just like an injury, like a callus, and it pops through the artery, and then it starts to plug the artery up. And
now you chose the eye because it's one of the parts of the body that heals very quickly. That's a very important organ in our body. So I think naturally it heals. Like if you get a little stuck in the eye, by the next morning, usually your cornea gets scratched. Right. It gets fixed up pretty quickly. I mean, hopefully.
Right. Yeah. So that's what we know now. We know what the artery looks like on the inside, and we know that nitric oxide is literally like a living being within your cardiovascular system. And that nitric oxide doesn't just stay in the cardiovascular system. So, for example, if you get a virus like the flu virus or coronavirus, if your immune system is functioning well, which means you have your high levels of nitric oxide functioning, your immune system sends its attackers, and they call them macrophages and micro something else, and they start to go on top of that guy to stamp out sickness, and then nitric oxide comes in there and just attacks it. And it prevents it from reproducing or replicating itself. And so with all this stuff we were facing with Corona, back those days with people in the hospital with respirators, all that so the other thing is nitric oxide has to be attached to your red blood cell. So if you have a deficiency in nitric oxide not attaching to the red blood cells, the blood cells that when they pick up a little oxygen in the lungs, when they go out all your different parts of your body, all the little baby arteries, it won't release it. It won't release the oxygen. And then it won't pick up the carbon dioxide either to send it out.
So this is helping you to be more efficient.
Yes. And athletes are very familiar with this. In our individual cell, the DNA, there's something in there called mitochondria, which you probably remember from biology.
Yeah, I think it's got that cilia that I was just talking about on it.
Yeah. So the mitochondria is the production of mitochondria is enhanced with proper nitric oxide levels, and the mitochondria is responsible for effectively burning the oxygen. It's like, and so they up their nitric oxide, they enhance their mitochondria, and that gives them that extra little edge, that extra 2 seconds, right? Because they're burning the fuel that much more super efficiently. Anyways, so there's so much into this science thing it's kind of crazy, and I wanted to touch a little bit, about the illusion of erectile dysfunction and female sexual dysfunction. So we have what's our Viagra? Let's just take Viagra. Okay, so Viagra only works in about 50% of the men who are prescribed it, and the reason is because their nitric oxide level is low. And so when nitric oxide is loaded up, your arteries expand and there's a bunch of blood, but it's a very, very short shelf life, right? It's a gas. So what Viagra does is if you have a healthy amount of nitric oxide, which expands the arteries, the Viagra inhibits the nitric oxide from disappearing as fast. So therein you have more blood, more filling, and it lasts longer. And then you don't have to take as much because there's all sorts of side effects that people complain about those because they give you headaches and there's a lot of pressure that goes in the body when they put stuff like Cialis or Viagra in. And with females, now for female sexual dysfunction, there's something called sexual discordance or female arousal disorder. So the females in general have a little different operation. So you got the vaginal tract, but you also have the psychological tract. And women have a psychological memory issue. Then you have all the cultural old standards of, old school stuff that people, taught us, and, the way we brainwashed people, and girls really had a tough time throughout life. I mean, it's the way they were treated, when it came to sexual relations and things like that. So there's the psyche, and then there's a physical. So women have an erection as well, and you need to get blood flow to that entire vascular base in the vaginal area. And there you go. So there's more enjoyment there and more liquid. I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? And then at the same time, they're releasing oxytocin and luteinizing hormones and GABA, which are all the good stuff. So it makes their memories come back, and it's a good thing. It causes positive energy as opposed to the fear sense of that. And that's a complete eye opener area as well. And that's another one. It's a very huge disorder, for men and women after the age of 40 as well. Again, tied right to that deficiency, right?
Oh, sometimes they forget how good sex was, and then by after sex they go, "Oh, it was good. I do want to do that again." And if you don't do it again right away, you might forget, and you go without sex for a while. It's amazing that sex is very important to human beings for sure. I mean, to any species. You take the pill. Everybody knows what the pill is. That's the pill that for birth control. But then the blue pill is that blue pill you were just talking about. You don't even have to say the brand name, anything else. You say the pill. Oh, okay, that's about sex. The blue pill, that's also about sex. So it's very important. So the nitric oxide is helping to increase that blood flow to the genitals.
That's exactly it. I mean, that's what blood circulation, the volume of blood and circulation. Those are the key factors that improve with the nitric oxide. And when you're young, so stem cells, for example, stem cells, their whole job is to cause healing. And so without nitric oxide in the vascular system, stem cells don't know what to do, because they tell stem cells to replace the bad cells. For example, aging skin. Yeah. Right. Okay. So if you don't have a stem cell to go, hey, aging skin, you dry skin, get out of here, and I'm going to replace you with something fresher, then basically you have aging. And people of course get exposed to the sun and so forth. And we also they just came out with the first nitric oxide serum exactly for topical.
Well, what you're talking about, I call it my Wolverine powers. When I get a cut now, it doesn't heal quite as quick as it used to. I have a Band-Aid on right now, because I have a cut.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to be when, of course, when I was in my youth, it would heal quite quickly. Now that topical cream you're talking about, what does that do?
Yep. So this is actual, it's also nitric oxide. So there's two solutions that you mix together, and then you just apply it to your skin, your face. It's kind of designed to be initially it was kind of like a beauty cream, because what it does is it goes right through the dermis of your skin, right inside. And all the teeny capillaries and arterioles that are causing wrinkles because they're dying, and that's what they're just dying. They flush up with blood, and all of a sudden your face gets all of a sudden like it was 10 years ago, because blood circulation gets right back there that was not there. And all this makeup women are wearing, and guys, and dry skin, and it just changes that right away. And then we're finding that there are some other clinical advantages. And we're just now looking at people having different weird skin conditions, and because now you're getting cellular activity topically and internally. If you do the supplements internally, and then you do the topical. And a friend of mine just actually. Because this just came out just a couple months ago, and so I'm learning with people, right, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, and she's in her mid-40s. She doesn't have wrinkly skin or anything, and she goes, "I'm gonna try it," and I go, "Okay." And so she decided to try it. And right away, her first comment is, "Oh my God, I love this stuff." And then she explained to me, she goes, "My skin just feels softer. And when I put my makeup on, a little bit of it just went on. So and look at my lines are gone." And then, and then she put some on my face and my forehead, my lines, got better. Or like skin, how a lot of folks have skin spots, sunspots, those kinds of things. So I'm imagining all those conditions can start to improve also with the serum.
I mean, we're here on the ground floor. You saying that you're in trials right now. You have this medicine that you have helped to create, but you're still trying to find uses for it. There's still
right.
Yeah, there's still so much.
We're getting, the product is out there, and we're hearing the feedback, right? I mean, because our company, the way we operate is we get in the trenches, right? I mean, even though you can order it on the internet, we encourage people to give us a call. Please give us a call. Tell us what you're trying to achieve,
right? And
then let me share with you the information, or get you on YouTube, so you understand the value of what you're doing for yourself. So it's not just another vitamin E. It's not just another department store cream, or make you young pill. This has clinical validation, and the serum. And by the way, I didn't actually help create any of this.
Okay, all right. I misunderstood.
I'm part of the launch team in a sense. If you look at it that way. Yeah. So my company's always specialized in these high quality, high performance type products, and it's a lot of work. You got to get out there, and you have to know your information, especially when you're working with physicians, right? But I have a lot of patients or friends, customers that they're going back to their doctors, they're going back to their cardiologists, they're telling their cardiologist, "No, I'm not going to take that drug now." Cardiologists, they're going, what? And and they're taking these tests, and they go, "Oh my God, I thought I was going to get you started on all these prescriptions, but your blood clotting was clear." And he goes, "I told you so." So I can't say directly that it's us, but I can say that yes, one of the scientific benefits that we know is it prevents blood clotting in the blood and so forth in the legs, and so
I don't want people listening to this to automatically become non-compliant with their blood pressure meds and their heart medicine. Definitely consult a physician, but this is something that can try. You can try. It can enhance. It's all natural. There's nothing. It's like eating a big bowl of spinach. If you don't have time to eat a big bowl of spinach, try a couple of these. Try a couple of these pills. See what happens.
Yeah. My recommendation with all this, it seems like our environment has become more dangerous with so much more population. We have populations coming over from all over different worlds now, not worlds, but different countries, their own sets of issues, right? Diseases or sicknesses. And so it's not like it used to be 20, 30, 40 years ago. And so what we're suggesting also, if you can afford it, we're really suggesting try to eat yourself a meal, or, get celery, so when you're hungry, put a little peanut butter on it and eat that, right? And then beets will, get a can of beets or something, and if you like spinach, just put a diet, a meal of spinach in there, and a couple capsules in the day. And if not, just do at least 2 capsules twice a day. And if some folks we want to ramp up even more, we suggest 2 capsules 3 times a day, so that they have full coverage, almost like 24/7. So their entire body. Again, the pills will last maybe kind of a shelf life of about 6 to 7 hours before they start to deplete, but you'll still have goodness in you, right? Because you're healing things as well. So it's not going to be bad to not take it. But and this is things that we're learning, on with working with patients every day. So. And once you ramp up, maybe you get your diet changed, then you can reduce the cost of the pills or something, right? Go back to maintenance type of thing. Sure. And by that time, you've got your dietary issues better under control. I'm not saying, go out there and become super healthy, eating raw foods all day, but we used to call it, when I was working in the medical field back in the day with professional weight loss, it was about choices. It was about choices. So you were hungry. You were going to go, okay, I'm going to go to the 7-Eleven and, oh man, that candy bar looks good, or that, or let's go to the donut shop. I'm hungry. Oh. And so those choices they have a not a good payday. Right. It's all said and done.
And you just don't feel good after you do it. There was that show with the Mike Rowe, the Super Size Me, where he ate everything on the McDonald's burger, and he just didn't feel good. But you made me think of another movie when you were talking about that you didn't create this, but you're helping to put this out. You remember that movie Awakenings with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, and the chemist came up with the idea for L-Dopa, but he gave it to Robin Williams, says, hey, look, I'm just a chemist. You got to figure out how to put it into use. And he did. This is what you have a team of chemists that come up with this medicine, and then you educate yourself and you try to help other people to put this into use properly, and it could be, oh, this helped the thing on my big toe. I used to have that blemish there, and now I rub this cream on there, and the blemish is diminished. It's gone away. Right. So you're finding new uses for this medicine. This is great.
Yeah, well, and also you're speaking of that, the topical, we also are getting feedback that diabetics have terrible foot pain, very burning. I'm sure you're familiar with that, right?
Well, no, I have the plantar fasciitis. Like I said, I walk around all day long, and it feels like there's a nail sometimes, not right now. It feels like you're driving a nail right through my my right heel.
Wow.
But if I put 2 of those Dr. Scholl's inserts into my shoes, and it seems to alleviate. I put a thin sock on rather than a thick sock, and it seems to alleviate a little bit. But this is a pain that I've been going through right now. But I'm working on it, and I hope that your medicine does help. Like
I said, we are just, the feedback, the thing is, we know this has got so much application because it's right down to the fundamental core of life, right?
Yeah, nitric oxide, you say it.
Nitric molecule is responsible for every physiological function in your body. It's attached to it, and making sure your immune system is in proper shape. And and then you don't want to oxidize your cells, and then you don't want this inflammation, going on all over your body. And because that's all that's called aging. You're old as you are, as old as your arteries, is what they say in this business. But yes, it's and you can, and the good news is too, you can your fresh greens, you can cook them. The nitric oxide still stays intact, so you can just make a spinach omelet. Just make sure you put 5 to 7 ounces of spinach in there, and because spinach, right, when you cook it up, turns to nothing, right? So it's just a couple bites when you cook it down or whatever.
Right.
But the most important thing is a lot of folks. We're looking for the folks that care about their health. They're trying to find better ways. There are many people are suffering from a lot of things. Anything you're having to that's not a good situation. And our goal is to see what we can do to get you to a point to where we can get your body functioning, that we get your prescriptions reduced, we get your stomach health, gut health better. There's so many things that are going wrong in our body that all this food causes that we don't realize. And then we hit 60, 65, 70, 75. Oh, JR had a heart attack at 72, it's he's gone,
Well, no, you're talking about our parents and grandparents. They ate much better than we did. Even the cartoons. Yeah. Popeye, he ate his spinach. They were pushing that on kids, and they tried with the food pyramid, which, I guess it's not completely right. Maybe they were trying to sell more bread or what have you. The pyramid maybe should be inverted, but that's arguable. At least they were trying. At least they were trying to tell you, hey, you should eat better If people ate the way that they do now 100 years ago, I think it would kill them. But, just a simple click of the Google, tells you the nitric oxide, everything that you were saying. Of course, it was correct. Molecule of the year, 1992, and the 1998 Nobel Prize in Physiology or medicine. Definitely it's still brand new science.
Yes, it is. In the picture of the world of medicine, yes. Yeah, it's absolutely.
I think of, the 90s is still 10 years ago, but I know it's 30 years ago, but but still, the 90s is not that long ago. And
no, it isn't.
And you're here on the cutting edge, man, and you're just trying to help people. This is a good thing. There's monetary, feedback. You're trying to make a living. But it's good. In all, when you do something, you want to make people feel good. You want to make people, you want to be able to go home at the end of the day, at the end of a hard day's work, and know that you've helped some people. And I think that you can sleep well knowing that you're adding benefit to people's lives with this medicine.
Oh, absolutely. I attend different little breakfasts and so forth here and there, and I'll just start chatting, right? And people take a big interest in it, right? Because everyone around me is going, "Yeah, I got high blood pressure, or I'm this, or I'm that," and we start talking, and they go, "I don't feel so good," or they're not feeling 100%, right?
Right.
And so it's a great thing. And you mentioned Popeye. I'm glad you did, because it's amazing. I don't know who the Popeye inventor, the writer or the artist who created that. Mm-hmm. It's really weird because we didn't learn a lot of this stuff until the 80s and 90s. But yet you got Popeye eats a can of spinach and his arteries bump up like just exactly what nitric oxide does. It's exactly what it does when he pops a can of spinach and his arteries go boom, boom, boom. I don't know I want to go back in history and find out what made that person think about that. Was it just a fluke, or did he do research?
I'm sure E.C. Seeger, was influenced by the spinach industry at some point, in my cynical mind. But there's got to be more to it. Hey, I crave spinach. Even though I eat poorly from time to time, I do crave my greens. And I think of my mom every time I eat a salad. Oh, my mom's going to be proud of me for this. I'm having a salad rather than a hamburger. But it was created by E.C. Seeger.
Okay. E.C. Seeger.
Back in 1933.
He had a premonition. Wow. Well, he had a premonition.
1929. Sorry about that.
Well, that's incredible, because we didn't have much of a clue about how the arteries worked in that period.
No, but there's sense to it though. If I listen to podcasts all day long, and I listen to, with the indigenous people of several different countries are chewing on a certain kind of bark. My foot hurts. Let me chew on this bark. Foot doesn't hurt. Turns out that was the same kind of bark that makes aspirin, or it was invented thousands of years before aspirin was even thought of, to put it in a pill form. So all these pharmaceuticals could have been a bulbous a plant in South America that was picked up off the ground, and that cured my high blood pressure if I ate that plant, and amazing what your grandma knew, your grandparents knew, and it was passed down to them from their grandparents.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I, having grown up in a Punjabi family in first generation, I grew up with all these different spices, and make tea. You got clove, cardamom, and cinnamon, all these different things. You get a little garlic in there, or not garlic, a little ginger, a little black pepper, and there's a couple other weird looking sticks that you put in there in the winter, and then in the summer you put another stick in there for another one, and so that's like its own tonic.
Yeah.
Right. But most people just take a tea bag and throw it in the water and call it good, or they're drinking a lot of coffee.
Hey, it's better than a soda. It's better than a can of cola. Really.
Yes.
And I drink a lot of tea. It's not a great tea. You know, a lot of times it's a Crystal Light powdered tea, but it's still better than a soda. I convince myself it's better than a soda, but is it better than just drinking water? Probably not. I should just drink more water.
Yeah, water's good for you, you know.
But those teas are all over the world. Man, I could talk to you for hours and hours about this, but you know, I want you to get compensated for what you do, for the knowledge that you've painstakingly worked hard for. So, you know, is there another website? I remember there was the Hemp Guru site.
Yeah. We've got a couple websites. Our main website that you just want to go buy the product, try it, is called N99immunesupport.com. That's N99immunesupport.com. And you can go read about some of the things I shared today. You know, there's little stories there, and then you can order the serum or the products. They'll be at they'll be at the regular normal retail price. And then if you're really, you know, moving on it, then we have another site. It's called berkeleylife.com. berkeleylife.com, but you need to use our practitioner code, which is N99TH. N99TH, and that gets you in, and then you can subscribe to products and save, you know, $5, $10, that kind of thing per box. And the pricing is actually pretty reasonable to begin with, which is nice. We've kept it at a very fair price for people compared to a lot of other stuff out there, which is what I'm really happy about. The serum's a little expensive when people first look at it, but it's a new product. It's very powerful. It took a lot to produce it. I mean, to produce nitric oxide, that took a lot of work because nobody else has it.
Well, I mean, how much is your life worth? You know, a couple of the pills. One of the pills that I take. It could be very expensive. Thankfully, I have a good insurance that helps me out with that. But
right.
You know, I want people to go to the N99 Immune Support website, because that's the one that's going to be most directly associated with you. Once you come up with a good product that you've done, yeah, every drugstore, every gas station is going to have a copycat pill sitting right there by the counter. So I want them to get the real thing. I want them to get the stuff that's tried and true, that you're backing. You know it. You've learned about it. N99 support, immune support. Now on your Facebook, it's spelled with a SPOORT. I think that needs to be changed.
Oh, did I mess it up?
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Just you know, so people know that it's N99's immune support in California.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know that. I'm gonna go look that up, see what I work on that thing so much I get brain dead sometimes.
Oh man.
Here's the other cool thing I got to tell you about.
Hit me.
We also have this saliva test strip that you can test the level of dietary nitrates, and that will tell you if you have enough dietary nitric oxide in your body. And there's what it is there's this strip. Where am I at here? There we go. And it has a pad, and you can't really read it that well, but one side says saliva here. Mm-hmm. And I can't really see it, but that's the side I'm holding up.
Sure.
And then the other side is just the pad to test. So, and then we have this color code. Where am I at here? Can't see my camera. Woo! Okay, so this is the color chart. So so the deep red is your target for maximum. And it's about a 10-second test, right? So you do this after you get a baseline is what we suggest first. Eat your spinach or eat your Berkeley Life. And then at 90 minutes it takes to digest and go through the process. And then you just take it, get it wet. That's about that. In the back of your tongue better, because the back of your tongue has the bacteria that you need. And you just pinch them together like this. And this is a truly valid marker.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And so you open it up, and then it's been about 4 or 5 hours since I've eaten any, and you can see I'm just right here. Because I'm at the end of my first earlier dose. But earlier I was deep pink, but you can see where I'm at now, right?
Yeah, but you're still keeping some in your body. I could see it.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm good. I'm good, right?
you
I mean,
are.
so this is what you want, and this is the cool thing. You know what, and you can, like, if you eat a bunch of spinach or bok choy, you can use the same test to tell yourself if you got to, because so there's also something called, if people that are really conscientious of their diet, there's something called the DASH diet, DASH. It's the dietary approach to stop hypertension. Okay, dietary approach to stop hypertension or high blood pressure. And that diet gives you if you follow that diet every day, it gives you 3 full doses, one in every meal, of dietary nitrates to give you the full level of nitric oxide.
I like
it. So if what I would suggest, I always suggest people Google the DASH diet and see some of the combinations of that diet, right? And see if you can incorporate that, right? How that diet works or what foods they're combining. But that's one of the best clinical type based diets for anyone trying to improve their health. And then you wouldn't even need these.
Well, Harsev, you know, I guess, do you also provide a like consultations as well? Are you open
absolutely.
to talking to people? You said at parties you're a chatterbox, you know. So once you get started on this thing, you could talk for hours and hours. And I don't want this to be the last time we talk. If you want to come on back anytime and update on how this is being used, you know, whether it be the cream or the pill form, I want you to come on back and chit chat with us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm sure we're going to have more news and more information. We might come up with different formulations for different conditions. There is a clinical trial going on right now with the same scientists that we're working with behind this product that's actually creating what sounds like almost a prescription type product. So, but that might be more, I don't know if it's going to be natural or kind of like chemistry behind it. That I'm not sure, but it's in phase 3, it's pretty close. And that'll basically hopefully just replace hypertension drugs, which are not very good thing, you know. So all the chemicals we take, birth control, just anti-inflammatories. Oh, by the way, also antacids. Okay.
Yeah.
And people that are on antacids, they destroy their nitric oxide. And and there are over 200 million people that take prescription antacids.
Oh yeah, I mean, suck on a what is it? A peppermint. Would that be better?
Yeah, better. Yeah, if you have something natural, do it. Just something that makes your stomach settle. But the actual antacids that are made for, like, you know, Tagamet or these other
sure.
Prilosec or whatever they are, they inhibit, and also antiseptic mouthwash. No more.
Yeah, people are not even using soap anymore for that reason. I'm going to wash my hands no matter what, you know, wash my hair, wash my body. But some of these soaps are so full of chemicals. You know, some people are just washing with water and going about their business. You know, there's got to be there's a plus to that, but then, you know, the stink. How do you combat the stink?
You do want some sense of disinfectant. Now we've been developing like a hemp soap, you know, back to our hemp business, right? So that's clean. It's full of good products, right? It's all natural, and when you use it, you can tell. It's nice and clean. It's like you're washing with water, but you're getting that cleansing for your body. Good. And so, because you want to slough off stuff, you know, the oils and things like that, you know, that are there. But so,
well, I've got your socials. I've got your Facebook. Your LinkedIn.
Those are the.
Well, I've got your socials, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. I've got that website that I'm going to put in the show notes so people know where to find that. You know, if people slide into your DMs, you know, business only. What are you open to? How you want them to go to that website definitely to get the product, but to get more information about it. You're okay with them coming straight to you?
Yeah. There should be an email contact, and I on our website, but I can because I basically would take phone calls, right? Someone just, wherever you're located. But if you order something, then I'll know about it. I'll have the person's contact information, and then I'll reach out and say, hey, anytime you'd like to talk, I'm available, and discuss what your goals are, and what are your challenges. And so yeah, I probably have to update my website a little bit with the phone number and maybe the email address. But if it's not there already, I'm not the best webmaster.
Well, I mean, I've got a lot of information. There's definitely the basics of how to get the product, and there's a lot of information that, pretty much you've gone through quite a bit of it, after the age of 40, men and women and all that, yeah, I don't see the website right off, but there is place to get it and
product,
and get the product. And I will have, at least your LinkedIn and your Facebook on the show notes, so people can.
That's perfect. And the email address is support@n99immunesupport.com.
Okay, easy as pie, man. All I have to do is
support
copy that
at n99immunesupport.com. So if you can remember the website, just remember the word support.
Got it. I'm even writing it down. Support.
Right on.
All right, my man. Well, it's been good chatting with you once again. This is a whole another interview, because the last one was all about the hemp, and now we're talking about the internals of your body and how you can fix your blood vessels and beyond. The very important item for your physiology.
Yep. Yeah.
All right,
thank you,
my man,
Dan, for having me.
Hey, no problem. If you want to give shout outs to the people that have helped you along, the scientists that have been working on this, and then we'll do the last words for the people.
Yeah, well, I just really want to give a shout out to the folks at Berkeley Life. One of the key scientists, Nathan Bryan, who's behind this, and he's got all sorts of information on YouTube. And also, I gotta thank my dear old friend Katrina Texador from Cause Marketing, who introduced us to begin with. And so that's always very important to me to remember the foundation of how I met you. So, and that's and a shout out to you, my friend. You're an awesome man. You really. Great to interview with you.
I'm just hoping that this gives you a little more traction on the good deeds that you're doing. We're trying to help each other, and we try to help. Make sure that we ourselves are in order, and then try to help somebody else.
Right.
That's what we need to be doing in this life, this crazy go round. And I guess I don't know if you believe in the next life or an afterlife. I don't remember if there was more to it.
Yeah. I believe in something's going on.
I can't say for sure, one way or the other. Not till we get there, and I hope that's not for a long, long time.
Yeah.
All right, Harsev J.R. Thiara, give the last words for the people.
Thank you to everybody out there, and happy health to everybody. And I look forward to hearing from you anytime. Thank you.
Oh, well, there you have it, party people. Harsev J.R. Thiara. What a cool dude. Just trying to help the people. Just trying to make the people live a little bit better. You're living now, but you could live a little bit better. And you don't have to be on all those pills. But, of course, consult your physician. I don't know, the pharmaceutical companies have been in the news ever since there have been pharmaceutical companies. Are they doing good for us? Are they doing bad for us? Are they trying to get us hooked on these drugs? Or, when they start, are they, they probably have our best intention in mind, but then that money starts rolling in and they want to keep that money rolling in. And how do we get more money? Well, let's get them hooked on this pill or another pill. Well, I mean, you just, it's hard. It's hard to know what to do. But, I think, Harsev, your heart's in the right place. And I'm very happy that you have this product that's a big bowl of spinach in a pill form. Maybe I don't have time to eat a bunch of spinach, but I have time to take a little pill. I think I could do that. I appreciate you, Harsev J.R. Thiara, for being out there and doing what you do, helping people. You know, the hemp helps people in certain ways, you know, helps people in their combat their pains or their ailments. And then now with this N99 immune support, you're combating other ailments, other pains, helping people live better. And more power to you, Harsev. I appreciate you so much, man. And thank you so much for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast once again. Well, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.